Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blackfoot Book Club and yet another edition of my essential film reviews collection, and I bring you some more rambling musings, and this time on the 2022 film Spiderhead, directed by Joseph Kosinski. Based on the dystopian science fiction short story entitled Escape from Spiderhead, written by George Saunders and directed by Joseph Kosinski, this recent release on Netflix can be summarily set out and loosely premised via the film's glossy, shiny and vibrant pink titled opening credits. Accompanied by Supertramp's bouncy pop tune The Logical Song, we follow a small private aeroplane as it swoops around an idyllic set of islands in the sun before settling in front of a state-of-the-art yet dystopian, functional and ominous looking building soon to be shown as a Penitentiary and Research Centre. Soon the scene is set as alongside a cavalcade of mainly 1980s hits from the Doobie Brothers, Roxy Music and Hall & Oates amongst many more, this colourful version of Kubrick's Spaceship in 2001 A Space Odyssey is anything but a prison. 30 or 40 inmates cohabit a pleasant, light and airy building. A large kitchen for freshly produced meals, expensive cookware, a barista coffee machine, and 1980s inspired arcade machines and games. There is an open doors policy, outside field trips. Prisoners are seemingly calm and happy and perhaps pleased to be here rather than completing a more traditional and strict custodial sentence elsewhere. But are they being blinded by the science? The biggest compliment I can pay Spiderhead, aside from the very pleasing 80s tinge to the soundtrack, is the immediate parallel I drew with Alex Garland's fantastic 2014 film Ex Machina. It's not in any way comparable to the majesty of Garland's horrific vision of an autonomous and free-willed AI view of a dystopian future, but the two central male characters and their developing relationship mirrors that of Nathan, Oscar Isaac, and Caleb, Domhnall Gleeson, in Ex Machina. For Nathan and Caleb, read Steve and Jeff here. And for Ava, Alicia Vikander from Ex Machina, read Lizzie here, the real star of our male-dominated film, and through whom we see the human future rather than the science that blinds us. Here are your three principal players. Steve, Chris Hemsworth. The theme of names continues as the seemingly carefree, excitable and meticulous head researcher insists on being simply addressed by his Christian name rather than the more formal Mr. Every inmate is happy to do so except one, and there begins a twisted friendship of ostensible prison garden inmate, researcher and research project, a lonely caged bird and a bird of freedom seeking an escape. Hemsworth is superb as the driven analyst who, as well as wanting to help millions of people with his pharmaceutical patch of 5 coloured drugs inserted into the small of the prisoners' backs, he's also empathetic and a caring friend rather than a stern, authoritative prison guard figure. Backed by the 1980s pop tunes he often introduces and joyously sings along to, there's a reason for this, but what's more intriguing is his desire to develop a real human connection and friendship with a favourite human experiment, a wanted best friend, an ultimate star pupil, Jeff. Jeff Miles Teller. Fresh from an almost unrecognisable yet brilliant role in Top Gun Maverick, Teller re-teams with the director here as a man convicted of a drunken and criminal accident that, with the addition of the N40 drug into his bloodstream, with the levels of happiness administered by Steve via a handheld device akin to a mobile telephone, he escapes to a place of pure joy and bliss. A somewhat star pupil, Teller's portrayal is eerily similar to that of Domhnall Gleeson in Ex Machina. Insular and self-aware, he is also responsive to Steve's project, an almost observer to his own experiment, and the holder of the power as well as the human morality ultimately lacking in his erstwhile controller and master. Lizzie, Journey Smollett. Despite the fine acting turns above, here is your star turn of this entertainingly empty science fiction vision of utter dread. Smollett is the beating heart of the film and the very human essence that her counterpart in the oft-mentioned Ex Machina isn't. Smiling, warm, helpful and ultimately human, and in spite of the patch attached to her and her fellow inmates, your star of the show. I didn't particularly care for Spiderhead, but perhaps my cynicism of a medicated and autonomous anti-human future was blinded by the wonderful retro music and not the science. The twists are signposted, but there's a cathartic release, and should you be interested or having previously read the article upon which the film is based, it may well prove a worthwhile 107 minutes of your time. And that was Spiderhead from 2022, directed by Joseph Kosinski, brought to you on the man in a Beatles t-shirt, reading and writing pointless but spoiler-free film reviews since 2012. And I leave you in peace and in solidarity, and I thank you so much for watching. Please take care out there, everyone. Peace.